One, two, three.
When you start to question the whole thing, it unwinds. Behold the great deception, traversing throughout time. If there's a grip upon your mind, cause at the mere suggestion it leaves you blind. I've been searching round for curvature, but there ain't any. No matter where I let my head turn, seems awfully flat to me. Will you start to question the shackles of your mind? If you let it open, you know there's truth inside. Have you been numbed and too complacent, bred in circus to the end? It's time to claim your mental freedom. You know it's up to you, my friend. I've been searching round for curvature, but there ain't none to see. No matter where I let my head turn, seems awfully flat to me. The shackles of your mind. If you let it open, you know there's truth inside. Will you start to question the shackles of your mind? If you let
you're seeing here is a mirage. You typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline. A mirage.
Howdy, everybody. How's it going? Been a minute. Everybody can hear me okay, I hope? How's my audio? Give me a thumbs up and we'll get started. Still don't know. Can you hear me? Waiting for a reply. Is it 5 by 5? How's my audio? Can you hear me? Yes, okay, good. All right. Welcome, everybody. I can turn up my volume, but my mic is at its max, so maybe if you can turn yours up. See if it gets any better. Yeah, so let's see. What shall we start with? I've been pretty busy since I got back from California, from Music and Sky, and then went on to Colorado and met up with Hangman, and he and I traveled up to the Black Hills of South Dakota and spent a week together, a few days, like 4 days up there, and then a couple days at his place in Colorado Springs, and went to the Garden of the Gods and just had an absolutely amazing experience. And we're gonna see my recap today of that adventure. Thought I was going to get to this a week or two after getting back, but a colleague of mine here in the area, who I used to work for, after 22 years in business, he and his wife decided to close their doors, and so they've been sending a lot of patients my way, which I'm appreciative for, but I've also been very busy. So yeah, so that song, a lot of people have asked me about it and wanted to know where to go get it, and I've thought about putting it up on Spotify, but it's not like I've got a whole lot of other songs that I'd be uploading. So what I decided to do is to just give it away now. And so I created a Dropbox link. The song is called Question, and it's, I don't know, maybe 8 years old now. Something that Alex, Michael, and I collaborated on. I wrote the lyrics and did the singing, and Alex did everything else, including Alex tune. It's kind of like auto tune, but it's a lot more difficult. You can probably hear I'm struggling with the high notes there, so it wasn't within my range. But yeah, anyway, so I posted a link to it, and let me just pin that. Wait, there's little icons there that are in the way. There we go. And yeah, so you're welcome to download that, and if you like it and you want to support me for the song, you can do that here at Buy Me a Coffee, or you know, for the stream or whatever. Anyway, so that song is not published anywhere except where I just shared. So enjoy that. Here's the buy me a coffee thing, which I set up a while ago and have never used, but can do that there if you like, or not. Enjoy the song either way. It was fun to do, and it was before Alex came up with his conspiracy music guru persona and started just kicking ass and taking names in the truth or music community. And what else we got going here? So the visuals are the work of a man who's just absolutely amazing, David Schiermeyer. He's a true scientist, and you can find him. Oop, I'm getting message. Let me make sure nothing important. I have no idea what's going on there. Okay. Yeah, so David Schiermeyer is, he's got a Facebook page here. I would link to it, but my Facebook has been yanked by someone. I don't know how it even happened. Some random Instagram account apparently posted something on my Facebook page or my chiropractic page for Facebook, which resulted in me getting my account disabled. And Facebook is a joke. They have zero customer support whatsoever. No email address that you can reach them at. The appeal form for the account, like to appeal their decision, the link is broken on their page. All of the two-factor authentications don't work because the account is disabled, so I can't have them send me a code to my phone or an email. So I don't know if it was HACKED or if it's, you know, they got tired of me posting stuff that they didn't like, but after 15 years on Falsebook, I'm without an account. So actually my quality of life has been higher without it, and there was so little interaction there. It's not a big deal. Anyway, you can find him here, and let me just show you. He's a real, you know, he does a lot of the classic cymatics with these images. A lot of those images were, well, I think all of the images that you saw in the opener were looking down on basically just like a little dish that's filled with fluid, and then it's vibrated from underneath by a speaker. But he's done so many other kinds of experiments, and really a master at working with sound and vibration and frequency, and can take a look at this here. This is, oh, there we go. So this is basically what he's done here. Is he's created soap bubbles that are, and then shined LED lights on them. So here he's got like 6 different little cups that are holding the soap, and because of the vibration, the soap actually works its way up so the bubble doesn't burst, and he can spend, well, sometimes it does burst, but he can spend a lot of time just manipulating the frequencies and creating these incredible images. Look like the rose windows in cathedrals, and you know, all the beauty of the way that plants grow. It's just far out the way the different frequencies affect these
almost all the cymatics I do
these
with
patterns.
The bubbles tend to show these X formations. You see it right there on the bottom, right there. They're like weird vortexes, like wormholes all over the place. Here's 18 hertz on a bubble, making that X pattern again nicely. This is 25.8.
Yeah, I mean, it looks supernatural at times. It's almost like he's opening portals and entities are coming through. The stuff that he's able to capture. This is a side view of the bubbles as they're vibrating
the way
slowly.
Function works. You just can see it, and you can observe it yourself. And the idea, by understanding the way something works, is then it can apply to.
Oops, I interrupted him. Anyway, yeah, this is just a video I found on YouTube, Adventures in Frequency. it's a compilation of different experiments he's done. So I just wanted to give a big shout out to David Schleiermacher. This is how his name is spelled. Oh, I misspelled it in my show notes. I put an extra E in there. So either that or this is misspelled, but probably me that's done made the typo. Yeah, so before we start with the main presentation, I'm gonna go into this. The last live stream I did was the recap from Music and Sky, and I told the story of a whole bunch of different synchronicities that happen surrounding the number 17. And let's see, put me on the screen there. And I don't remember if I mentioned this at the end, but one of the people that I was traveling with, a guy named Ishan, he and I were talking about the number 17 quite a bit. And at one point, he just threw it out there. Intuitively, he felt that the number 17 had to do with instant manifestation. And it turns out that on this astrology.com page, they literally talk about it meaning exactly that. So Ishan was spot on when it came to the number 17 and what it might represent and why it might be popping up all the time. So and then I mentioned Mark Gober in the last presentation as well. He's an author who's written a series of books called An End to Hello, hello, hello. Wow, what in the actual heck? All right. This is why I did a mic check at the beginning. Can you hear me now? Anybody? Can you hear me? How about now? Can you hear me? It says I'm sound on. All right. So that was a problem with my USB port. I was jiggling it before and I was like, okay, I'm connected, and it just went out on me. So I apologize for that. So basically, you haven't been able to hear me since I started. Is that correct? I got to go back to the beginning. You heard the music. You saw the cymatics, but you didn't hear anything I said after that. Is that correct? Still no sound. What? You got to be kidding me. Uh-huh. Volume is better. Now good. All right. So you didn't hear anything I said at all? Or did it cut out at some point? 5 minutes ago. What was the last thing I was talking? Start over. The segment after the soap bubbles. Ah, okay. All right. So this part. Get back to the angel numbers. Okay. Good. Only 5 minutes. Well, it's not my fault. It was the USB port. Okay. All right. Good. It wasn't the whole thing anyway. All right. Let's get going here. Okay. So back to shake it off. Back to the number 17. In my last live stream, I was talking about a whole string of synchronicities that were related to the number 17 that had happened to me before Music and Sky, and then there were a whole slew of them which I went through that happened at Music and Sky, and even just after that. And so I'm just gonna tell some fun stories. You've already seen it on the screen, but one of the guys I was traveling with, a guy named Ishan, we were just discussing the number 17 and pondering like what's the deal? Why is this coming up all the time? And he threw out there at some point just intuitively that he felt that the number 17 had to do with instant manifestation. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. I'm not sure if it's true, but so I had some exchanges with Mark Gober, the author whose books I was holding up a moment ago, and he actually sent me this angel number meaning from astrology.com, and they're basically talking about it's all about instant manifestation. So Ishan was spot on, and so it's happened a lot. And the oh, now I'm not showing the screen. So all right. So anyway, it's a manifestation number. So Mark, he and I were chatting back and forth, and he said I had a 17 synchronicity today, so it was quite synchronistic to hear you talk about it. And then I asked him what it was, and I also mentioned, did you see that when I paused the video and I was talking about Mike Winter, it was at 7:17. He says, yes, amazing. I was picking up food earlier today and saw a car in the parking lot that had a huge 17 with a circle around it, and the thought entered my mind, why am I seeing the number 17 right now? And then I realized I was walking distance from my childhood home, and the address number there was 17. And then you sent your video. So that was just a fun little synchronicity. And then I sent him this, which was sent to me by one of the subscribers in a comment. And she writes, I've been to a few festivals back in the 90s, never Burning Man. I totally agree with you. Music and Sky was the best festival I've ever been to for so many reasons, like you mentioned. Being around grounded, like-minded people, peaceful, lovingly, playing in nature for 4 days, it transformed me. Loved your talk as well there in the Shakti Lounge. I have 3 kids, all born on the 17th. two of them the same day, same month, but different years. So I sent that to him. And then he was out for a run, I think the next day. And he said, just finished a run, of course, and ran by a home with the number 17. And then someone sent me this in a comment as well. And it's a quote from the Bible. It says, "Thou art a great people and hast great power. Thou shalt not have one lot only, but the mountain shall be thine, for it is a wood." The mountain shall be thine, for it is a wood. And it's Joshua 17:17. And so I think that's appropriate for the topic of this day, because we're going to be talking about mountains and wood. And then I started thinking about Joshua, and it reminded me of Joshua Tree. And so I just decided to do a little search for Joshua Tree. And this is what it looks like in Joshua Tree. You have the actual Joshua trees, but look at this beautiful nature in the background. Whoops, doesn't want me to look at that picture. Let's try this one instead. So we're going to be seeing some more structures that look like this up close, and you'll see that they're not just sandstone. They have all kinds of grain and other clues that let us know that they might be more than just a bunch of rock. So, and then the next day I'm looking out the window of my office and I look down and see this car below. So yeah, it was a nice string of synchronicities, and you know, it's par for the course, right? So hopefully everything is still good with my audio. And one more little housekeeping thing before we start. Just a reminder for those who've already heard it, or for those who haven't heard it, I'll be going to Liverpool September 4th. And let's see. I'll just throw the link into the chat. This is going to be a wonderful event with a lot of amazing speakers, and I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic vibe in Serbia. So if you're in Europe and you've been wanting to go to one of these, you know, truth, freedom, wonderful festivals that aren't based on drugs and alcohol and, you know, partying your brains out, this is the one. And it's in a place called Liberland, which is a little autonomous community based on voluntarism. Liberland, and can read a little bit about it on Wikipedia. And it's yeah, this is the founder of Liberland. I didn't get a chance to talk to him when I was in Mexico, but he was there, and it's bound to be a fun event. So if you decide you want to do that, there's a code that'll give you a discount. It's an affiliate code. I'll just put it in the chat. Code for Liverpool, and it's S7. So if you can make it to that, go for it. So just to say a little hello to everybody in the chat before we start with the main show. Hi, Wendy. Hey, Annette, Stephanie, Julie, Kimberly. Lots of ladies in the chat today. And thanks to Shiva for reaching out to me on Telegram. Otherwise, I might have gone for another 20 minutes without checking the chat. So, yeah. So hopefully my computer can handle this. I rendered a massive video that turned out to be 24 gigabytes. So I probably should have gone for lower quality, since it doesn't broadcast it more than HD anyway when it comes to YouTube. So this is where I left off when I did my recap from Music in Sky. I went back down to Southern California, visited my mom, and had some nice experiences there, and then went on, also visited Yerasimos and Sophie Fletcher. Yerasimos what's his last name? Stylianisis, and had a great time with them in Topanga Canyon. Saw my mom, and then went to stay and travel with this guy, and he's got the look of a man who's thinking, oh my God, I have to spend a week with this guy, and I'm probably not far off. His dog was far more welcoming. So this is just it's all of my photos and all of my clips. I've uploaded some of the short highlight clips already to the channel, so some of these you might have seen, but they're so beautiful. They're worthy of repeat. And we're just gonna go through this, and it's gonna take a while, but it's gonna be worth it, and educational as well. So we went up to the Black Hills. It was about a 7-hour drive. We stayed in the town of Kuster, which you're seeing here. And like classic Americana, we'll get more to Kuster. And this is right near Kuster, close to the Black Elk Monument, and you can already see the lay of the land and what the mountains look like there. And that is Black Elk. And no, that's not pareidolia. This is an actual sculpture that they're working on, and I think that's the hand there. It's a massive endeavor. I don't know how long they've been working on it. We didn't get up to see that. It would have been interesting to see, but also kind of sad to see how they're just devastating the land like they did with Mount Rushmore, which is maybe 15-minute drive from here. It was my first time in South Dakota, my first time in this part of the world, and basically right off the bat, getting out of the car, we went to the side of the road, and you could see the beauty. So I'm mixing in a lot of the photographs of the trees that were just down and decomposing, because they're your training course, really. They're what you're seeing on a grand scale. And if you start to recognize all of these little bits and pieces, and you can see what they do and how they break down, and then how they start to decompose, what you're seeing here is identical to what you're seeing on the grand scale with the footage that I'm going to show you today. So all the grain, take note of the knots and how the grain swirls around the knots. And that's exactly what you're seeing there. And people who deny this truth, well, the video clips have audio, so I'll just shut up when those are on.
I want you to remember here, so all this right here, we're going to go up here. All this is one branch. Okay, the radius. We're going to go right up here, but we're going to go right around this side. So you'll see that all this is just part of one branch. And it keeps going down like this, the way they break down.
So it would have come out this way.
It's going all the way down. And they keep doing these splits, and I'll show you when we get up there.
So those splits are exactly what you're seeing on the small scale. This is my first time seeing this stuff up close. And then it would go from there.
See, there's two gaps there, but
gaps.
Are you filming?
Yeah.
So walk through the gap, and then you can show them a picture of the way it breaks down. Like when the ant walking through today.
So this is oxidized. You got things growing, and then this is smooth where it's cleaved. And when that's broken away, usually you can see the micro layering underneath. It's a quartz vein. That's so cool. And up there, look at that. was Grace, Mike's wonderful dog. And here you can just get a sense of all the color that can be in the sap. So when I say sap, that's quartz, obviously, but you can see the quartz seams are channels that are running through all of these structures. And those are where the miners are going to, to find gold and silver and copper. They're going into the quartz seams to find the gold veins and the silver veins. And here you can see the original color of the tree. So this is oxidized, the lichen and everything are growing. And every once in a while you find these areas that are just, it's all the original color, and it's breathtaking. The camera, unfortunately, just does not do this justice. There's one of the effects that I've looked at all the pictures and it doesn't show up, and I'll point it out when we're in the sites, or looking at rocks that would normally have had it. But there's a silver sheen, like it literally shines in the sunlight, and you can see that silver is all throughout what they would call the shale. And doesn't that look like a wood pile? That's all stone. Every bit of it. Or wood. In a different state. All stump. Everything we see.
Let's keep that going and walk down right over here.
So this is the highest point on this hill we're at right there. We're at like 7,000 feet altitude, so the air is a little thinner. It continues down. The black helicopters were coming. They found out we were there.
Look at that real close. Get up close. You see the grains and stuff. All that in here really.
Oh wow! Look at that! Holy
What you get over
moly.
there, that's just all part of the, like the broken
Wow.
stump. Watch, we get over there.
What a place! Yeah, seeing it for the first time, and it's just
Go to your left a little bit, you'll be able to see all
gobsmacking.
the spires, just like the stump
Yeah.
is gone. But that's not isolated, that area. It's all over, dude.
Huh. The stump. That's right, Loco. There you can see the color is still really noticeable. So all the stuff that's pointing up is like still attached, you got to think of a stump just decomposing and things sticking up. Yeah, I was left speechless many times. So again, pay note to the curving of the the layers. And all the different ways it breaks down. But even when they're curving like that, you can see they're still breaking into these little chunks, and the ends of those chunks are smooth. Now, this is anyone who's a skeptic at this point, I challenge you to, look at this and tell me that isn't petrified wood. There were so many times when I was walking around where I couldn't tell if it was fresh or stone, and I had to touch it. And sometimes it was fresh and sometimes it was stone. It was literally impossible to tell without actually picking it up and holding it. And, sometimes you can break pieces off and you can still see it's fibrous on the inside. this might seem repetitive to people, but at least, you know, these high definition images are out there. You can screenshot them. I'll take myself off of the screen for some of it so you don't have my face in there, but you know, feel free to make use of this footage and spread it around and spread awareness about it, because the mainstream narratives for these sites are just, they're so far-fetched and they don't make
starting
sense.
all the way over there, all of these are all pointing in the same direction, cleaved, and they're all facing the same way, so they're all part of the same superstructure.
When you get down here, you'll see what's under the road and what's protruding. Well, this is only what's above.
Right, yeah, it goes down too. All facing the same way. So all of that is gone. Everything.
Look back this way because the angle is right. You get over here, you'll see what's under the road. It's just protruding out there.
Alright, so this extends under,
You can shoot it right
continues there.
here. Right here.
Yeah. All of that grain is all going that way. All one big giant piece. Just a portion of what was once a gigantic branch.
Or probably a small branch.
Hey, little chipmunk. Right on that rock there. Hey, dude. Hello. Hi there. Cutie pie. There you are. Hello. How adorable are you? That's as far as I can zoom. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up here. There's so much to see. And that one was really great for, you know, educational purposes as well. So see how the sap is just oozing out of these little bits. So you can imagine that on its side, and you know, we're gonna see clumps of sap that are bigger than cars. And this is a really wonderful spot that's about a 1 minute drive from Mount Rushmore. And it's significant to Mike's journey because it was right in this stretch of road when he first had the epiphany that he was looking at tree and not, you know, just regular old stone. And he crossed the street and he was walking and he could see that there was just this swirl with all of this fine grain, and the quartz was in there, and it, you know, that was when it dawned on him that it wasn't what he thought it was. So this was the site that really, you know, sparked his curiosity. This is something I really miss living in Spain, is the large birds of prey. Every once in a while you see the occasional hawk, but Not like these. These were like 6-7 foot wingspan birds. First time I ever saw Mount Rushmore, we didn't even bother to go to it. We were too busy looking at the sights and getting up close and personal.
That is a big, big, big hunk of sap right there. Here's smaller versions of it. So layering. Oh, that big piece there.
It's literally next to Mount
up
Rushmore. People stop there all the time and have no idea what they're looking at. And yeah, I mean, it gets a little repetitive talking about the grain, talking about the sap, but each one of these sites is so unique in and of itself. And I mean, look at the size of these pieces.
Hey Grace, what do you think of this one, huh? Look at this beauty.
That was right outside our hotel room.
All that super thin micro layering. The feldspar.
It's so breathtaking when you see it up close. And all of the gray is actually shining silver. So this literally, like, it made you want to put that was just behind our hotel room. Made you want to put sunglasses on. It was so spectacular. This was one of my absolute favorite sites.
If you look at that piece of cedar, how obvious it is. That's not petrified.
Yeah.
So as below, so
But
above,
this
right?
is, oh, it's so phenomenal. Here at the ends.
So these when you look at them from the end, if this is broken away, and I'll show later an example. When this is broken away, because this is like the cleave point, and this is just a natural separation in the grain of the wood. And when it cleaves, you have the smooth quality to it. This hasn't been melted or anything. But when this portion is broken away, you can see micro layering underneath it, but you don't see it on the end. So when you're looking at this from the end, you don't see the same grain that you see from the sides or from above. I'll remind you when we get to that.
This is definitely one of my favorites. Looks pretty tree to me.
Sometimes it looks almost like blood, but it's just the way the sap, goes. So there are probably a lot of people that would see stuff like this and think it was petrified titan or petrified giant. It's not. It's just what the sap does.
Quartz seam running right through the whole thing. Here, it would have cleaved off.
I'm surprised these places still exist. You would have thought they'd just take it all and crunch it up and take whatever they could. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, we've been downsized. Oh, this was a wonderful donkey. We got to.
You know, mules can't mate.
No, I didn't know that.
You know what a mule is, right?
It's like donkey horse, right?
Yeah. But mules can't create a mule. They can't mate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
His name is Gus, and the reason I know that is because the owner happened to drive by and talk to us for about 5 or 10 minutes before we left, and Gus was very friendly, and he hangs out with his buffalo. Gus is cool. Be like Gus. Yeah, so now we're getting into, I can't remember the highway number, but it's basically 15-20 minutes from the Black Elk Monument, where we get up into the these just monumental spots, and you'll see. Yeah, and I have to say, Mike was such a wonderful host and tour guide. It was a lot of fun hanging out with him, and hope he feels the same. Yeah, this is a skull. I wanted to bring it back, but I just my bags are already full with stuff that I'd gotten in California. But as a chiropractor, it's very interesting to see the complexity inside the skull and the orbital fossa, which is the eye socket. If you get into the work that I did on Montgo, Unveiling a Titan, I go in detail into the anatomy of eye sockets and show how the mountain is matching that to a T, with, to the tune of upwards of 20 different specific anatomical features. This site was so stunning. And I'd seen this in some of Mike's videos, but it was so wonderful to be able to be there in person. I think it was deer, not sheep. And this, again, this was literally shining silver. It doesn't come through at all in the photography. Heavy breather.
Take into mind, like, shooting it at different angles, so you can see, like if you were to go to your left a little bit, with that one in front of you, you'd be able to see the brake's really good.
The pedagogue, Mike Alley. Yeah. We wouldn't know any of this stuff if it wasn't for him.
So this is a lot like that stuff.
HDR camera. Yeah, I mean, I did all this footage with my 4-year-old Samsung phone. It holds up pretty good, but I'm due for something newer and better.
I would.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. This is, come on, people. If you can't see that that's wood, you're blinded by your paradigm, right? There's no other explanation that makes sense. You can talk sedimentary layering all day long and listen to the geologists and all the stuff they tell you, but that's tree, and you can deny it and deny your senses in favor of far-fetched theories, or you can just accept it for what it is and realize that we had trees that were bigger than you can even fathom. I should have picked it up just to bang on it because it looks like fresh wood.
I wish I could zoom out, but that feature is not working on my phone. Give you the full picture. The majesty of this site is just words do not convey.
Massive knotwork.
Yeah, someone just mentioned in the chat that the original No Forest on Flat Earth video began the unveiling. I'm not sure if Mike had seen that before. I think he realized this on his own. I'm sure he saw it, not long after. I haven't asked him that question. I invited him in, but he's not so interested in doing live streams, so I can honor that. Maybe someday he'll join me for a live conversation or a Q&A or something. Yeah, he was just in that area right by...
Ooh, here comes the rain.
Right by...
Just as I was going to head over there. We're going to run for shelter here. Don't know how big it's going to get, this storm.
There's a lot of thunder and lightning as well. Yeah, he realized it when he was there by when he was by Mount Rushmore. He was just on the side of the road and had the epiphany when he was looking at the complexity of the grain of the tree. The quarry thing, not so sure about. I'm not sure what you mean. What about it, Bogan? Quarries are definitely fascinating. I'm gonna maybe in the next stream I'll show some of the pictures I've gathered from the quarries.
Of all the sites that I've seen Mike present on his channel, this is the one that was really my favorite from a video perspective. It's just so magnificent. Fun to be here in the flesh and see this firsthand. Camera just doesn't do this justice. But I think you'll be able to really appreciate it anyway. That's where we're going next, over there.
Mountains were quarries, huh? Yeah, well, what were they quarrying? That's the question. Yeah, I've thought about that. There's actually, someone says, imagine the size of the tree bugs. And there's actually a lot of different areas geologically that look like tree that's been infested by
I
giant
can't remember
termites.
who said it. I think it might have been Joseph Goebbels. Said if you make the lie big enough and repeat it often enough, it'll be believed. And in my opinion, the lie is told formed all of these structures, which is dead plant life, animal life lying down for hundreds of millions of years, and then being pushed upward by tectonic activity, so we get all these broken layers. But when you get up right next to this stuff, it exhibits the features of wood in every imaginable detail. From the micro layering to the sap to you name it. To the mica.
Yeah, the mica is the bark. It's like infused with silica, and it's got this shimmer, like
It really is a case of those who have the eyes to see know what they're looking at.
it shimmers like
We've
opal.
all been told stories and believed them by people who were supposedly experts, who have their credentials and all the letters after their name and have done all the supposed studies. But some of them may be lying. Some of them may be just blinded by the paradigm that they grew up in, that they were trained in. Paradigm blindness. It's a very real thing. And it's starting to rain again. Time to run for cover.
So many amazing flowers. Yeah, Mike's always behind the camera, so kind of nice to catch him in action, moving around. This area got really slippery because of the rain, and he took 2 falls that day. He almost went head first off of a very high edge. So we're lucky to still have him. He was live streaming and took a fall and dropped his phone, and yeah, so he needs to be a little more cautious in the future. That's where he was. He fell down there. Could have easily slipped off the edge. Look at the size of that clump of sap. That would weigh well more than a car.
This sap is amazing. I'm sure it weighs more than
Oh, there I am
a car.
saying the same thing.
Same stuff. As far as the eye can see in every direction. All part of what seems to be one big superstructure. Trees that reached up into the heavens. Uh-oh. Here comes some more rain, maybe. Yep, I can see it over there.
Yeah, this is one of the most spectacular sights when it comes to the detail. This is what I was talking about before. So this to me is a slam dunk, right? So this is how it's always cleaving, and this is the smooth stuff you see. And this isn't, it's not vitrified, it's not shiny. This is just how it breaks. Like, and anytime those little chunks are separating, like in a smaller tree, it does the same thing. And when it's missing, you can see that there's this fine layering that's going through it. This site is so different from the Garden of the Gods, which we're going to get to shortly. The color is different, but it's all tree, but it's manifesting in a very different way there. So it's a nice, be a nice change here. Oh, that one you could see a little bit of the silver shine in that photo. Somebody asks if Hangman believes in huge creatures. I don't know if he does. I don't think so. He's he's not necessarily on board with the work that I've done on Mont Go. The mountain, the limestone all over Mont Go looks nothing like any of this site. I didn't see anything on the whole trip that looked anything like the stone here in this region. So if he were here and saw it with his own eyes, he might you know, be on board with the idea. This was an interesting area outside of where, you know, where all these other photos were. This area really looked like it got hit, and you could see that the stone was things were starting to melt. We went on so many back roads, and yeah, it was just awesome. Yeah, proof aliens exist, right? Oh, look at this one. The swirl is just the things that wood can do. If you understand that wood can literally manifest in any way, in any shape, this is the tree decomposing here, turning to sand. Isn't that interesting? And this was a place I think he had never been to before. So I got up there before him because he was doing something in the truck, and got to walk around and see this area. And I've got a nice. It's unfortunately it's vertical. I did it so I could, yeah, up in this area right here. You'll see in a second. It's really amazing. So if it's sedimentary layering, why would it be both vertical and horizontal lines?
Hey, Grace.
She was having the time of her life. chasing after squirrels and never caught any though. Look at this spot. This is just so cool.
Look at that. All quartz. Just embedded in and flowing up. Look at this swirl here.
The color of the original wood.
Quartz going up into it.
Yeah, just getting up on top of these things and looking down on them and walking all around them. It never got boring. Like, and each one is totally unique and magnificent in and of itself. There he is recording a video. Another squirrel. Yeah, and then we saw that. Let's see. You know, they get tourists to go there and pay, you know, to look at these trees. You know, the mainstream story is that the biggest petrified tree in the world is like 8 foot in diameter. And, you know, people are going to pay to look at these and touch them. And they have no idea that it's all around them. And in previous live streams, I've shared articles that were found by Analog, Ben, Waking Up with Analog. His channel is called The Archivist. If you haven't subbed to that, you definitely should, because he's just done amazing, amazing work. But he found a bunch of articles, which he shared with me, where they're talking about mining these petrified forests where the trees were still standing, and they were filled with gold and silver and copper, and they would, you know, harvest them and crush them and extract all the metals, and they were getting thousands and thousands of dollars to the ton well over 100 years ago. So by today's standards, that would be millions of dollars, right? And so people are, you know, paying to go look at this little area called the Petrified Forest, and maybe it's better they don't know, huh? Can still get out into these places and it's pristine, and, you know, get to enjoy the nature. If people knew what it really was, they'd be crawling all over it like ants. She bolted there. She saw a marmot or something and went after it.
All right.
I'm gonna do
See
two
that?
videos right here.
That
One upright and one sideways.
is
Right
just
here,
like
on the left bottom.
just like that. That's what they mean when they say, as above, so below.
Don't they just? Oh, thank you, Flower Jones. Very kind. I appreciate that. So check this out. This was really decomposing, and we Mike picked up a portion and turned it upside down. Like there's the side, the bark that turns into, you know, mica, and this is, you know, he just grabbed the piece and turned upside down. Looks exactly like the hills.
Over there is Crazy Horse.
Oh, there we go. Oh, you know, this is the thing. Like the whole thing with
embedded
pareidolia. Whoa, I just skipped way back. Okay, right there. Okay. I can see an eye, I can see a mouth. This is dark and shadowy, but it looks like kind of an, an eye socket, and almost like, an ear or something. It's like, is this a person? Is it a head? No, it's not. It's pareidolia. Got to look at things from a lot of different angles and rule out other things that are far more obvious, in my opinion.
All just parts of what was probably one big stump. Beautiful day checking out the great trees remains.
This was just glowing silver. These are like right outside the stores. So now we've gotten, now we're into Kuster. And this was an interesting experience for me because I've been in Europe for 27 years now. And when I have gone back to California, I've just gone to visit family. So it's the first time I've traveled in the United States in like 3 decades. And so I almost felt like an anthropologist because I'm so far removed from the culture now. So it was kind of fascinating to just like walk around a town and see what things look like and watch how people are interacting with each other and look at the old buildings. This is just a small little town, but it got some, quote unquote Tartarian architecture there, and even what they would call a mud flutter, the older brick buildings. And it's just so American. It's just, this was really cool. So I thought I was talking to describe this, but I wasn't. So it caught my eye. I was filming across the street and I looked over and I saw this heart made of crystal with the arteries coming off of it, and I was like, oh wow, that's cool. And then
Hi. It's a beautiful piece.
I was going to turn the corner. Oh, okay.
I didn't even realize what it was. I just saw the heart there. After looking across the street and admiring it, those brick buildings, just a little slice of Americana, and I didn't even realize I was standing next to a gem store. Oh my gosh, there's a piece in there that looks amazing. I don't know if he'll let me film, but that's so cool.
Sorry about the loud noise there. Yeah, so had to check out the gem store and look at the geological finds, or the biogeological finds. Bought by itself this piece of labradorite right there. That's the one. Pretty cheap, I think, for something so beautiful. This was wild. This looks like something you should have covered up. Saruman might get you. But look at that, $2,000 for that piece. These were cool. These lamps, these were all made from slices of quartz. Just such a beautiful glow. If I didn't have a full suitcase, I would have grabbed one. But interesting to see. We were definitely in Trump country. I mean, look at this. I'll be back. If you don't like Trump, then you probably won't like me, and I'm okay with that. I have PTSD, pretty tired of stupid Democrats. Homeland Security. I mean, look at this. Not a hint of Democrat anywhere in this town. Don't pet the fluffy cow. So this is the town of Kuster, as I said before. There's the post office. Interesting with that floor below there. Why would they do that? Doesn't make sense. I guess it's so the floodwaters can come in and fill the basement. Yeah. Town where they're proud to be American. Probably fans of the first and second and third and fourth and fifth and all the amendments. That one. Oh, this was the coolest building. Just chunks of tree, but people walking by it, they have no idea what they're seeing when they look at that. A dude's place, the barber you deserve. Custer County Courthouse. The Purple Pie Place. Look at that old stove. Man, they just don't make things like they used to. Life is uncertain. Eat dessert first. Good advice, huh? It was kind of like the Twilight Zone. I walked by that, and then an hour later I walked back. There was nobody there, and then when I came back, it was just packed in the space of an hour. Reminds me of my childhood. Dino? The Flintstones kid. And then we watched some TV. It was the first time seeing American TV in quite a while, and boy, was it surreal. Holy moly. Hey, a rare smile from a very, very serious guy. And we're heading back now to Colorado Springs. 7-hour drive, and felt pretty good about it all. We got some amazing footage, both of us. He's posted some great videos on his channel as well. I found out what his Achilles heel is. It's traffic. He's a pretty calm guy, but as soon as he gets in traffic, you can see it, the change in his demeanor. He did not like it. And then, as we're driving in, getting closer to where he lives, all these stump-like shapes everywhere. Kind of interesting. Couldn't really be, like, formerly tree, could it? Another. Take care, Bogon. Yeah, so we're about to get into the some of the cliff dwellings. And those are the Rockies. It's just like a big wall. It's something straight out of Lord of the Rings. And yeah, you can just pause that if you want to read it. So that was the hall. I found that piece. Thought that was pretty awesome. And once again, the camera just not doing justice. But this last piece here I'm going to show. You can see the wood embedded into it still.
It's like a mini version of what we were seeing in those massive chunks. It's just a smaller piece.
Jubei
Some
asked why are they
microcytes,
also
just
flat?
what the
Oh,
tree does.
are you talking about the stumps?
You can see all the shiny mica.
Paul Bunyan's fault.
That's one all burnt up, fresh.
I have a video on my channel called Felling Titanic Trees, where I just go into some of the different theories about that. But, you know, were they felled by Titans? Was there some kind of technology? Was it lasers? Was it aliens? It could have just been something like steampunk technology, you know, diamond rope saws. Check it out, Felling Titanic Trees. It's only like 10 minutes long.
Look at that beauty.
That one had so many colors in it that the camera just doesn't catch. So I took a tour of his garden. You can see this is a perfect example of when the mica is just magnificent. So many colors, like opal. I think that's all opal is. I think it's just more of the mica infused with silica. It's got that birefringence, which causes the refraction of the light. Those are
interesting.
Those are called mudstone, and Mike found them in river bottoms where
Buckets filled
the
with
mud gets
stones,
caked
no
around
doubt.
something else.
So we didn't see much of this today. These bubbles of sap that are basically just geodes. Look at that. What a beautiful piece. Sap right up next to the wood. And there's Grace. World's sweetest. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful dog.
Paul Gould's in the chat talking about, well, he's always talking about the Earth is a whale, but he mentions the work of Francisco Paco Torrenguasp, helical heart, and a whirlpool still powering heart field at the North Pole, and a huge black rock mountain because dry blood is coal. Okay, but I just wanted to show this gift from my friend, since he was talking about it. Oh wait, I'll go full screen here. Gift from Alex, like that. There's your Rupus nigra. That's exactly what he was just talking about in the Four Rivers, and yeah. Anyway.
Ooh. That would look amazing in the light. Now that one, I'm looking at it and I can't even tell if that's stone or wood. And it's stone. How about that? It's all wood, of course. It's just some is fresher than other. That's an interesting one there. It's very rare in his collection that I find those. They're heart-shaped. And
Yeah, not a single heartstone on that whole journey to the Black Hills.
it's hard to make out if there's grain there or not.
That's the only rock I saw on the whole trip that had that shape. It's amazing how many of them I find in this region.
Herbs.
Yeah, his backyard is a museum unto itself. And, you know, someday maybe all of those pieces will be in a museum.
Wow, look at that piece. That is something else.
His house burned down 3 years ago. You know, in a, I can't remember. I think it was a battery or something that ignited, and he was having a lot of trouble with the contractors. And in the end, he just ended up doing all the work himself.
It just breaks down to smaller and smaller chunks until it's
Hey,
sand
there's a
again.
paper bag on the table.
Uh-huh.
You can look at that in the sun.
All right.
And if you want, you can look through them tubs over there. You hear me?
Yeah.
But look at that piece in the sun that's in the bag on the table over there.
Ooh, look at that one.
Yeah, so this whole garden, everything you see, the house itself, it was all burned out 3 years ago. Man, this is
What are those?
absolute dynamo.
Looks like turtle shells.
Hardest working guy I've ever met.
It's more the bubbling sap is how I see that now. And then if there's a space in the middle, then the crystals slowly grow inward.
Colors on that one were breathtaking.
And this is on its way to becoming what we would call lava rock. You can still see the grain up there. You know, like iron.
So yeah, this is really, this got hit by a lot of heat.
Ore.
And then when it gets to the next stage, it goes to
Iron
that.
ore. This is what it becomes. Goes
And
from
then under other circumstances,
that.
it becomes obsidian.
to that, that. He's shown this a bunch of times in the videos. That's an amazing piece. And look at this one. It's like being in a museum.
Oh, look at that, the
Look at
mica.
The glisten of the mica. I don't know if that comes through in the video, but it is bright as a mirror. So look at the one in the bag on the table. I guess this in the sunlight. I had a specific task. Oh wow. Look at this.
Yeah, this turns out this is I think it's called electroplating. So this isn't
Wow.
naturally occurring. This is something that they've done to the stone.
I wonder if that's actually been electroplated, infused. It looks like something I saw in that rock store, rock and gem store that I was in yesterday. That's an amazing piece. It's in a bag. I have a feeling you might have bought that. I'll ask him. Oh, here we go. Look at this. This is just such
Yeah, just rocks.
amazing
Look at that.
specimen of,
That is so beautiful.
with the quartz infused with mica, which is like the
Yeah, so these are just little tiny
the bark
pieces of the bark
the
that
tree,
are
as
mixed
I
in.
understand it. Huh. Yeah, this man knows how to use his hands. There's no doubt about it. So do I, but entirely different ways. Yeah, wow, what an amazing feat. Throw this all together within 3 years, build this incredible rock garden, and rebuild a house that burned to the ground. I can't help but commend him for his non-stop efforts. And his wife as well, of course. They are troopers, no doubt about it. Oh, look at that piece there. right, well, signing off from Casa HANGMAN1128. Ciao.
So now we go to Garden of the Gods and Mesa. What was it called? The Manitou Cliff Dwellings. Oh, these are carvings that he's been doing out of tree. That is the most unusual of the pieces that he's found, and I have no idea what that was. Oh, this was a wild synchronicity. This is crazy. So we're just watching TV in their living room, and this guy comes up on the TV, and he's one of my patients here in Spain, and there happens to be like a documentary on television about the Costa Blanca, and this guy, his whole family are patients of mine. It was so bizarre. I look up at the TV, I'm like, is it Ralph? And I see his name on the screen, and I couldn't believe it. What are the odds of that? Oh, this is people can have themselves cremated, then turned into stones. Mike's turtle. Yeah, so let's see. We should be getting to. Yeah, we're going there now, to the cliff dwellings. Little old world architecture. Welcome back, Wendy. Yeah, it's a small.
Picture of that. I'm filming actually. Look at that. Wow. That is amazing. So here I am traveling with this crazy mofo. Say hello. Hey, what's up? We are going to cliff dwellings. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so this is a different style of manifestation of how it happens. So that's an example of cedar. And so is that.
And built it right in.
One of the things about Mike that I wouldn't have expected is he's constantly stopping and talking with people about it. You know, he's so passionate, and you know, he has tremendous faith when it comes to the Bible, and he's always talking about Ezekiel 31 with people and telling them, you know, what they're really looking at, and to read that verse over and over again, and the more they read it, the more they'll understand what. So, yeah, this is. He bought that piece. It's actually, if he hadn't bought it, I would have. It's really beautiful. More labradorite. Yeah, so it was fun to kind of watch him talking with people and seeing their reactions. Some were
They
very
just
open,
carved right into these, in between the layers.
So these are not original cliff dwellings. They've supposedly dismantled these structures from somewhere else and brought them there, and you know, reconstructed them to show people what it was like. But it's not an authentic site.
So this is the entrance to these
Ezekiel 31.
cliff dwellings that are actually pseudo cliff dwellings.
Sorry for the repetition.
Apparently they dismantled these dwellings and brought them here and parked them in that area there, but they weren't original to this area. behind this hill is Garden of the Gods, which we're going to next. You can just see here, this is all cedar. People just have no idea what they're looking at, what they're walking around in, and even the people who work here don't really have any idea. This looks very different from the Black Hills and the areas that we saw up there, but it's all cedar. All these layers. Mesa Verde and these other areas, I'm guessing, you know, they've just kind of dug into the soft parts between the layers. It goes hard, soft. And who knows whether they carved them out while it was still wood or whether it was after everything had petrified. I'm guessing probably while it was still wood, all laying down. And, you know, easy to just carve in with primitive tools, if that's how it was done. Mike's up there filming.
Yeah, he did a video that was almost an hour long.
Just
going
layers
into
of
the
wood
detail all around this
laying
site,
down.
into the museum.
Mike talks to everybody, people who work in these places and passersby, and shares the knowledge with them. A lot of people just kind of shake their heads, don't really fathom what he's telling them. Talks about Ezekiel 31 and the great tree spread its branches out, filled the heavens. And completely changes your perspectives when you see it for what it is. It's just so obvious. But if they tell you lies and repeat them often enough, most people will believe it. I'd live stream this, but I'm on a European mobile, and it's been hit and miss with internet on this whole trip, and even when I have it, it's pretty slow. So I'll just have to do this in a live stream when I get back. I've seen so many amazing sights. This is just another one of many. But these kinds of dwellings, they're all over the place in this part of the world.
Yeah, I think in Mesa Verde,
Go into the museums and you're going to get a completely different story about things.
they have also
These
talk
mountains
about
are so impressive.
caves going deep into
Rockies.
these. Yeah, so now on to Garden of the Gods. I was so glad to get the chance to see this before going. It was my last day there, and it didn't disappoint. Not sure which low pitch you're talking about, Rob. So this has all been smoothed out by floodwaters, and the waters remove the softer portions. I'll say less because I'll just be repeating myself because I've got a couple live clips in here as well. But look at this spot here. I'm going to zoom in a moment. See all the different twists and curls and things that the cedar can do. So this, you know, can help understand how we can have such an incredible variety of geology in this world. Looks like this tree's running away. Never noticed it. You know, I mean, imagine if this was on a massive scale and laid down. What, you know, what kind of structures are you going to see?
So I don't know if them are cedars or junipers.
Cedars or juniper?
Cedar or juniper.
You need a shave.
But they're very similar.
2 weeks on the road.
But not the same. So that cobblestone up top,
Yeah.
it's like a
Yeah, that's actually a structure.
conglomerate.
It's the only thing
You know
you
what I
said
mean?
the whole
Yeah.
week that I didn't agree with.
The floodwaters, dude.
What a... That way or this way?
So the water did this, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Water
smoothed it
fell
all
these
out.
channels. It's from the floodwaters.
Getting rid of the softer layer.
Yep.
And here you can see the stuff has been embedded on this side,
It's pounded in, dude.
pounded in. The other side won't have any of that probably, right? Because
I
the
forget the correct name.
waters
Is that-
came
is that
through.
what they call it, a conglomerate? Where they're...
Yeah, when you have a mix of a bunch of different things.
Who else would grab it, bottle? Someone left and drink it.
Well, contagion's a myth. So.
So if you get over there and climb up, you'll be able to walk way out on that peninsula, so to speak.
I'm gonna do that. You sure those aren't placed by human hands? That almost looks like
I
they.
don't think so, bud. I mean, it could be. I don't think so.
Kind of looks like a little like cement there.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Right
it could
there.
be.
This is just amazing, really.
You'll have to climb up here.
Oh, another thing about him, he's not a whole lot bigger than me. I'm not sure how much more than me he weighs, but the guy
Get up over
is
here.
it's crazy
Right
strong.
there.
He
you
lifted
get through right
he
here.
lifted rocks that I would have thought two men
Get up
would
over there.
you know would be needed to lift, and just put him in his truck. I'm taking this. I as a chiropractor I didn't recommend it. Yeah, Kimberly asked, this looks
Oh,
soft,
bird
but-
just went in.
but that's hard as rock. Some of the stuff you could probably rub away with your fingers. It's soft. It can be very soft sandstone, but like those longer portions that are
for the
unbroken,
shaky
those are hard stone.
Footage.
But like underneath, where the water's worn away, that's soft. And if you took a spoon to it, you could scrape it off.
Get up on this thing. It slips way down.
Should have came this way to see it all, and then
There's Garden of the Gods over there, or it's all Garden of the Gods, but that's like the most famous section. We'll see it last.
Down there, chunks, just like the.
Yeah, he could definitely
You
beat
see
off
the
a
trees
bear if he
breaking
had
up.
to. Yeah, JLE 1177 is saying, I hate to say it, but you missed the Indian. Go back to 3217, pause it, and turn. Yeah, that's what is it? Black elk. It's a sculpture. It's not pareidolia, but it's also not. It's not a titan. It's uncompleted.
See the grain on top too. Here. Sedimentary layers meet arse.
You know that video on YouTube or TikTok where they're, I think, in the Grand Canyon or someplace, and they show that big, huge blocks?
No, but I can imagine it.
Well, it's similar to that right there. They're saying it's 8 million trillion years old, 8 million trillion billion years old, and it's
a big number.
A scientific wonder. They don't know how, but right there will show you how it's done. It's all part of the tree, how the tree breaks down. See that?
Definitely.
It's on a scale that's beyond comprehension. All of it, as far as the eye can see. There's Pikes Peak right there. There's your culprit. That is your culprit.
That one or the one back
Very
there?
top one, right there.
That one's Pikes Peak.
That's Pikes Peak.
What's that one called behind it?
I don't know the name of it. But you see over there, it's all remnants.
Yeah, Pikes Peak is like 14,000 feet tall. A little bit more.
And they call this place, that private goat road goes into a private elite community called Cedar Heights.
Yeah, we were just up there.
Armed security.
Yep.
Sure like to know who lives back there. It's kind of ironic they call it Cedar Heights.
Isn't it though?
But listen, there's a video on TikTok and YouTube there at the Grand Canyon. A lot of people seen it. I think it's the Grand Canyon. Where they show these big, huge blocks with perfect square 90-degree cuts. Massive. They say it's a wonder. But you see over there, it's the same exact thing. Show the camera over there. It's the same exact thing, but on a little bit larger scales. Those who've watched my videos understand how the trees break down. From a very large to very small, they keep breaking down due to the fibers in the trees and the root systems.
Yeah. So you think these were roots coming out?
It's hard telling, but then when you see the undercut and the erosion underneath all the rocks, that's from the floodwaters coming through.
Yeah, it's
and
coming
you see
down.
Rocks embedded into it where it just got pounded in. I've been up around ancient riverbeds, 200 yards up from the current river, and you find the same thing where water cut through. That river used to be 200 yards up the riverbank where the river currently is. Down to the car.
Sounds good. There he is, Hangman 1128. Thank you for all your fine work, sir.
Now we're going to get over to those jagged things in the distance. It was definitely a trip to remember. There's no doubt about that. Oh, I gotta, I think it's just after. Got a couple other little clips besides just the spires in the distance. Yeah, that's definitely man-made. So here, I mean, it's interesting. Look at the two sides, the left and the right, you know, and here you've got this like shredded, you know, stuff, and then the grain. So I mean, just think of the myriad, you know, the myriad of ways that all this can break down. Biogeology is anything but a, you know, an easy thing to quantify because there's so many different ways in which everything can manifest.
You just gotta hop. Gotta walk. Thank you.
Yeah, and this is just a gift shop that was filled with so many interesting things. So I filmed a bit. Just looking at all the different beautiful ways in which the wood can manifest. Dire Straits asks, is it reasonable to conjecture that every mountain was a living tree at one time? I think using the word every is dangerous in every circumstance. Almost every circumstance. I think some are probably titans, though there don't seem to be as many of those as there are tree remains. I just had to throw in a little bit of NASA brainwashing here.
Oh, Joseph Springs? Yeah.
Yeah, some are trees, some are maybe beings, some are the remains of ancient mining operations that are on a scale that we can't even fathom.
Freaky out.
I have that one in my hand.
Pretty cool. Look at this lamp.
That was like $400. It would have been worth it.
All stone.
It's really beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
Order number 63, please. Order number 63.
Little superhero. Amazing the way they move. That bushy tail. Yeah, so now we're getting into the spire part. These are amazing. From, you know, certain angles you can just see layer upon layer, like that one. And if I was Roger Spur, I'd be 1,000% certain that that was a penis. No doubt whatsoever. Clearly a petrified penis, right?
And you see right here, this would have been, this is still part of the source tree. And this curves up. I don't know how well you can see it. It arches up like this. This is a small section of the cedar tree. Just try to show you this. See if I can see it.
See? Not a penis. Always got to zoom out and get the bigger picture, right? You can't just immediately assume something because it looks like something. Yeah, there is some kind of a physiological thing that happens where the member can be engorged upon death. So I learned that from Roger. Look at all these layers. Here you can get a sense of what this is like the outer edge of, you know, a tree trunk that's just deteriorated and is still there. And this guy was a geologist, and I was like, hey Mike, why didn't you go talk to him?
It's called freestyle, but it's not climbing. It's not for soul. Where's the ranger?
And he sounded so sophisticated.
You're looking for a ranger, sir?
Oh, is that Sleeping Giant right there?
We're on Sleeping Giant.
This is Sleeping Giant.
Yes.
Okay.
So don't talk too loud.
Sleeping Giant tree.
Hey guys, could you please keep that?
And there he is, talking about Ezekiel 31. Some people were really open to it. It was, you know, refreshing to see. The great cedar. And there it is from a distance. Yeah, I think we're almost there to the end. This is parting photos of one of the sweetest dogs I've ever met in my life, Grace. She's just a gem. And we went to just about the most American diner I could hope for a great breakfast just before I got on my plane to head home. And yep, and there we are, back to the beginning. So, what did you think? Was it worth it? I sure thought so. It was a lot of fun to do, and just definitely exceeded my expectations. The places and the experience as a whole, and getting to hang out with Mike and his family. I got to meet his daughter and her husband and his wife, and they have 2 other dogs or 3 other dogs. I can't remember if they had 3 or 4. And yeah, experience a bit of my home country for the first time in years and years. So for those who tuned in late, just a reminder, I'm going to be going to this event in just a few weeks. When is it? What are the dates on that? Yeah, so the 5th to the 7th. If you're in Europe and this is easy to get to, I would definitely do it. It's going to be an amazing event. You can see the VIP tickets already sold out, but there are definitely spots, or no, not the VIP tickets. Yeah, I guess the VIP, I don't know. The highest tier sold out, but there's cabins. It's by a river, and it's got a great lineup of speakers. Jeff Berwick, Max Egan, a lot of the people who are in Anarchapulco. It's basically a satellite event. They've been wanting to do one in Europe for a long time, and this is their opportunity. It's going to be in this place called Liberland, which is a little micronation that was uninhabited stretch of floodplain on the Croatian bank of the Danube. It's the territory of a new independent country, not recognized by any country. It's since become one of the best examples of a micronation. Yeah, and this is, I'm not sure exactly which, if it's this land or where, or maybe it's this little island or something, but yeah, I think you need a boat to get to it. So Vit is the guy who founded this little micronation, and you can read up on it there. But so I'll be hanging out with Steve Falconer again. We can get ourselves into trouble. Seems like good things happen when we get together. And Alex Eck, who I got to hang out with for a second time at Music and Sky. And I'll be speaking on the subject of rebel health, vitalism, innate intelligence, and radical responsibility. And Don Lester will be there also speaking on Health Day as well. Steve Young, who I not so long ago interviewed, quantum physicist who's now a scientific turncoat, written an amazing book called The Fool's Wisdom that everyone should have and give to people they know and love. And yeah, so check that out and come to it if you can, because it'd be a lot of fun to see some of you in person. And there's a discount code S7. I'm not sure. I think it's like 10% discount. If you use that code, you get a little discount. So anyway, anything on anybody's mind? Any questions before I wrap this up? Thank you all for coming. I hope it was fun and enjoyable. As always, a bit long-winded, but that's my style. I don't do short format very well. And awesome, yeah, awesome interview. That was fun talking to Steve. He's a wealth of knowledge, and we'll do a part 2 at some point, because we pretty much only covered the first half of his book, which was about, you know, his experiences of waking up to a lot of the different things in science that aren't as we were taught. But the whole second half of the book is all about alchemy, and he's very knowledgeable about that subject. And so we'll do a follow-up at some point. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, huh? Glad you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to do, and a lot of fun to present. And oh, I'm glad you mentioned Granada, Andalusia. Yeah, there is so much to see in this country. Spain it's like a little mini continent. It's one of the most diverse environments in the world for its size. And you've got everything from the Pyrenees to the, you know, ski resorts in the mountains to deserts to, I'm sure there are tons of sites when it comes to the tree remains and titans as well, probably. So I plan over the next year or two, you know, barring any unforeseen, you know, chimpanzee pox kind of things. I hear you can get it even if you're asymptomatic. You know, if we don't end up in another systematic, institutionalized insanity, then I will start to see some of this country I've lived in for 13 years and not gotten too much of. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you to my wonderful moderators. And it seems like it's been a great vibe and chat the whole time. So until next time, and next time will be soon, because I'm going to, I've got a bunch of little geological finds. So Alex might get a little gift after all, but he's not so big on rocks. You know, he's like, it's a rock. So, you know, what more would I give him? But I've got a bunch of little smaller examples. Couldn't bring the big ones home, so I brought home a bunch of smaller examples of lots of different manifestations of everything you guys have seen in this video. And I'm going to pull out the 1000x microscope, and we'll go through them together. I haven't looked at any of it with the microscope, so we'll all be seeing it for the first time when I do that, and I hope to do that next week, maybe at the end of the week. And yeah, other things lined up as well that'll be fun. So have a wonderful one. Give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. If you liked it, share it out. This is important information. I mean, think about it. Like probably less than 1/10 of 1%, maybe 1/100th of 1% of the people know this. Very easy, demonstrable, empirically commonsensical proof that the great trees are real. Geology is not what we've been taught. And they can tell us all kinds of convoluted, fancy stories to try and get us to believe that everything you just saw in this video was all just dead plant and animal life laying down, compressing into hard layers that then get broken up through, you know, tumultuous earth movements. And it's bullshit, in my opinion. So on that note, take care, everybody, and thanks for coming. Until next time, stay healthy and happy and wise, and don't let the bastards get you down.